Today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams. Ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Figure out how students at a North Texas middle school gave each other tattoos inside a classroom. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. So it happened at Travis Intermediate. It's in the Greenville ISD, northeast of Dallas. The district says teachers assigned to the classrooms have been suspended pending an investigation. A parent whose son was tattooed says medical testing is underway because the same needle was used for multiple students. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is live in Greenville after speaking with one of those parents. Peyton.
Hi, Heather. Yeah, Greenville ISD confirms to us multiple teachers here from Travis Intermediate have been suspended, but they didn't confirm how many teachers have been suspended, only saying their roles are currently being reviewed. This afternoon, I spoke with a sixth grader and his mother. They tell me that during the tattooing, there was a teacher in the classroom, so now that Greenville mother is wondering where was the supervision.
It's scarred, so it broke the skin and scabbed over.
Ashley Armstrong already had a lecture with her 11-year-old son, Jordan. Scabs from tattoos are now seen down his arm reading, "I heart my Lord," plus initials tattooed on his hands.
He got punishment for it. He got punished for it. He knows better. He shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Now the Greenville mother wants answers.
These kids are getting these tattoos in class, and not one teacher noticed it.
Armstrong received a call from the school nurse at Travis Intermediate Tuesday. She was told to get lab work done immediately on her sixth grade son. Thursday, Greenville ISD confirmed the in-school tattooing of students.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, you really just can't make this stuff up, man. We've had several discussions and debates on this program about the public school system of America and how it's failing the American children. And now we see a horrific story like this, to where you as a parent send your child to school thinking your child is going to be safe and protected and guided and taught and developed academically. Then your child come home with a penitentiary style tattoo. The tattoos were performed using a needle. Not a tattoo gun, not proper tattoo equipment, using a needle like they use in the prison system of America. And somebody who obviously had a relationship with someone who may have been in prison or online finding this stuff out, comes to school and performs these tattoos. Multiple kids, according to the report, multiple kids in one classroom got tattoos. Where in the hell were the teachers? How in the hell could this have even happened when teachers on their posts? This didn't happen on the playground and nobody was around to watch, or they went in the bathroom and did this. This happened inside the classroom. Either the teachers didn't give a damn about these kids, or they were either drunk, intoxicated, or high and need to be drug tested. How in the hell could you even explain the level of incompetence on behalf of a teacher? Multiple teachers, multiple kids, several different classrooms. How could this happen? You can't make this stuff up, man.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Quanell. Was this a schoolhouse or a jailhouse, right? And yesterday, we were talking about the kid that graduated, that couldn't read or write out of college, and you were saying that the teacher should be in jail, and I disagreed with that. But I absolutely would agree if you'd have said it today, right? This is criminal negligence. You are putting your children in the school with the trust that they will be some effort to keep them safe. And there is very little effort, right? As we talked about discipline yesterday. We have teachers that are checked out, zoned out. But how on earth, right? How on earth are you getting a needle, breaking open a pen, getting ink, because that's how they do it in the prison system, right? And where there absolutely is a spread of HIV, hepatitis, all sorts of bloodborne diseases. Thank God none of the kids involved in this in the sixth grade were infected with anything that infected the other kids, right? But these are marks that someone's either going to have to laser off, or these kids are going to look like that they were in prison at some point as opposed to at school. It's absolutely disgusting, and we've got to get to a space in America where, I mean, we talk about it, I think there's about a a $23 billion funding gap between schools that are predominantly white and schools that are predominantly African American or people of color in this country, right? Where you are an advocate for taking public school funds and putting them in private schools. I'm an advocate for creating competition between public schools, allowing students of color in the inner city to absolutely have access to better school districts, and to put the onus on busing and allow them to take their tax dollars with them. But I also think we should have more parity, right? And then where we really need to start locking people up is where all this money goes, Quanell. We are spending more on average per student than anyone else in America. We got kids that can't read or write.
And producing an inferior product.
Right. And we're not, we got schools in we got school districts in Boston and California doing away with honors classes because they're calling, in Seattle, they're calling honors classes racist, right? Instead of figuring out why kids of certain communities aren't performing as
Charles,
well,
let me tell you,
fixing the situation by teaching them.
American public school system has turned into this. Kids getting tattoos in elementary in class, getting tattoos in classrooms at elementary schools. Mass shootings at elementaries, mass shootings at high schools and middle schools. Teachers getting beat up by students at the job and being video recorded and put on social media. Teachers being intimidated and threatened by kids and cursed out and made to sit in corners. Teachers by students. We got teachers breaking kids' arms, punching special needs kids in the face. We got teachers in Texas. Texas leads the nation in inappropriate sexual relationships between students and teachers in the country. We got students now going to school dying of fentanyl poisoning in classrooms. We got kids on campus with liquor dispensaries on campus. Charles, we got drugs being sold to other kids by other students on campus, Charles. What the hell has happened to the American public school system?
Well, I know exactly what happened to it, right? During the 8 years of the Obama administration, they ratcheted back discipline. It had already been miserable.
This been going on way before the Obama administration, brother.
But it got much worse, right? And we have kids, rule-following, good, earnest students of color, right, who want to go to their schools and learn and not be bullied, who find no protection, because right now we live in a society where we have rules, but those rules aren't enforced, so they're not rules, right? It's just like the multi-billion-dollar shoplifting epidemic that is creating pharmaceutical, food, and retail deserts in black communities, right? When you have so many black business people that are being crushed by police not showing up. You have all of these earnest kids their dreams are being crushed and they're being made hard because they are not being protected from the non-rule followers and the bullies because we don't have any damn consequence. So when you punch a kid, right, you should be suspended. You do it again, you should be expelled. Right?
Well, really, those are the rules.
Well, it doesn't happen.
But here's what's happening.
They're not enforced.
But here's what's happening,
and
Charles.
they got to look through. They got to pull out their color chart and say, "Oh well, we
Charles,
can't
here's
punish
what's happening,
him
Charles.
Well, he's a
You let me finish. Now at the schools, we got elementary school children who are being bullied, going home, committing suicide because they're being bullied.
That happened in my eighth grade.
Because they're being bullied.
It's been going on for a while
on campuses. Charles, we got police officers when there's a mass shooter on the campus
what's the solution,
refusing to go in and protect the kids, hiding behind a wall. The damn shooter is shooting the kids. He hiding behind the wall.
Officer of the year.
This is America's public school system.
So how do we
Charles.
fix it, Quanell?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Charles.
This will be a start, y'all. He's gonna be honest.
I believe, especially starting with the black community first. And as a black man, I gotta say this: we have to take control of the academic institutions in our community.
Well, that
secondly,
hold on.
Let me finish, Charles.
Why don't you look at school districts that are taking control by the black community?
Let me finish, Charles.
How are they performing?
Take control of those school districts and those educational institutions and schools in our community. Secondly, fathers who are behind on child support have to be required to volunteer so many hours per month at that school until they catch up on their rearage, or at least that will be counted toward their rearage so they can volunteer to school systems. Thirdly, Charles, we have to begin to make sure that vape shops, liquor stores, and businesses of ill repute and moral questions should not be allowed to be in certain proximity feet of these schools, Charles. Right here in Texas, you got schools that right across the street is a huge-ass vape shop selling anything and everything. Charles, America is ass backwards, man, when it comes to what we're doing with our children, producing safe, clean environments for them to be educated in with great teachers. And we must pay teachers what they deserve. We are paying teachers not even a living wage, therefore we're hiring from the bottom of the barrel. Pay teachers what they deserve. That's the first steps, Charles.
Well, when teachers aren't teaching, what is it they deserve? They deserve to be fired. And all of your through the lens of race nonsense was just that. They weren't solutions. What we need to do is start having metrics. And when teachers aren't educating their kids, you fire them. We are paying teachers well. I would agree they should
paying
be
them well.
Better. Hold on.
Who told you that lie?
We shouldn't decide who can. Well, let me look at your
Do we
skin
pay
color.
police well?
Let me look at your skin
Do
color.
we pay police
I
well?
don't think we. I think
Hell
yes.
no, we don't pay
Yes,
police well.
we-
And we don't pay
Hold on,
teachers
hold
well
on.
at all.
But the thing is, you want to look at everything as based on race, and I
No,
would like to look
white
at it
teachers are
on
not being paid.
performance.
Asian
no,
teachers are
I'm
not
talking
being
about
paid.
Your solution.
Hispanics
Just
are not
no,
being paid.
The black community needs to
Because
take
as
their
a black
schools
man,
back. Now, what
charity
we need
starts at home
is
first,
kids
then it
need
spreads
to
abroad.
pass. Kids that break rules need to get put out of school. Parents need to start teaching their
Charles,
kids. We need
we
rules.
gotta
need
change
metrics.
from within first.
Okay.
Lawsuit aimed at the city of Seattle involving Seattle police. A high-ranking officer with SPD filed a lawsuit this week against the city claiming retaliation, harassment, and discrimination. Lieutenant John O'Neill was the main target of a lawsuit last year by 4 female officers who painted O'Neill as a harasser, predator, and misogynist. That lawsuit by the 4 female officers also blamed former Chief Adrian Diaz for siding with O'Neill. Their allegations in part prompted Mayor Harrell to demote Diaz last year. Now, O'Neill's new lawsuit claims the officers conspired to take him down with false accusations by, quote, weaponizing the Equal Employment Opportunity complaint system. O'Neill says they colluded after he tried to hold several of the officers accountable for bad behavior and poor work performance. The lawsuit also states that 6 other female SPD employees complained to HR that the women in the lawsuit tried to recruit them to target O'Neill. Records show that all internal complaints from the 4 women that were investigated by the city came back not sustained, or that the evidence did not back up their allegations against O'Neill. The veteran.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Well, this is concerning stuff, Quanell. What you have is Seattle, which the Pacific Northwest, Seattle seen as the bastion of progressivism and wokeism in America, where people love to trot out the tropes of discrimination and misogyny and weaponize them, right? And weaponize them in a mechanism that we all remember, the Seattle Autonomous Zone, where people just took it over, and there were murders that never went punished, and there was all kind of craziness, and set up in front of people's homes and people's businesses and destroyed people's lives. But hey, it was woke. So you have this lieutenant, John O'Neill, who had 4 women. I believe it was 2. I think it hit the government.
3 whites, 1 black.
No. It was an Asian. I think it was a Latina, a white, and an African American. Well, because you didn't research.
I mean, I was watching, but I saw 3 women in particular.
Maybe do some research, but anyhow, it was we can agree at least a multicultural representation of female officers who claimed that he was some sort of a predator, and they trotted out. And if it's true, which we don't know if it's true, absolutely hold him to account. I don't want some sexual predator with a gun and a badge, more or less bars, a supervisor, terrorizing women. Who knows what they would be doing to people on the street. But if this lieutenant has produced ample evidence that the 6 other women are saying, hey, they tried to recruit us, this is, and if that's true, well, this is alarming. They've made false statements. And you look at the chief, another man of color, getting demoted over it, because we're always in a rush when it involves someone with a penis who likes women, right, and presents as a male. So a cisgendered heterosexual, if they're accused of anything, right, you're typically guilty until found innocent. Now in the olden days, right, back in the day, the men would rape women and the cops wouldn't listen to them, right? And that's the pendulum way over there, and that's horrible. But now the pendulum has swung way over here, especially in these very, very far left progressive cities, where if you make any allegation, it's given undue credibility. And it's frightening. It's frightening if it's true. It's frightening if it's not. There's something unraveling at the Seattle Police Department. I will tell you, though, we have a lot of people that will find any excuse when they're held accountable at work now, when they're told that they're not meeting their metrics, when they're told they're not doing their damn job. They scream ism, whether it's sexism or racism or whatever ism they can conjure, and it's getting to be where people are losing empathy, and a lot of it's becoming white noise, and I really want to follow this suit and see what happens here.
Charles, this suit is very alarming to me because remember, the women filed a suit against him first.
Right.
Then he subsequently put all of his factual information as he's alleging together with his lawyers, and now he's suing the women and the department. But what's even more ironic about this man worked up through the ranks and became a lieutenant. He had been at this department for 2 decades and never had a single harassment complaint filed against him by male or female, had a stellar record. And all of a sudden, when he was promoted to overtake the K-9 division, then all of the complaints about sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, and intimidation came from this one department, all at the same time. I'm not saying it's not possible that he did that, but now you have other police officers, 6 women, who are saying we were recruited to join them in this witch hunt and to lie against the lieutenant, and we chose not to participate. If this is true, they should open up a criminal investigation, because this should be criminal to lie at this level, this magnitude, and put it in court documents, Charles. If it's true, somebody should be held accountable for this. The women should have their allegations against him thoroughly investigated to make sure if they were victims, he's held accountable. But vice versa, if they lied on this man to get rid of a no-nonsense, rugged, rigid supervisor, and they made this stuff up just to get rid of him, well, then they should be punished too. This is scary because, see, now, this is America's first responders. These are police officers. Let's say if they are lying, would you lie on police reports too? Would you fabricate evidence? Would you fabricate documents to see somebody go ahead and be criminally indicted and charged and sent to prison? When does your lying stop? Or where does your lying have boundaries? Especially when you're a police officer. That's what frightens me, Charles.
Well, so you have O'Neill, when he was put in this position as the head of K-9, he took some action against somebody that conceded their negligence led to a dog being injured, and he pursued a consequence for them. He was then accused of taking down pictures of white female canine handlers in his office and replacing them with pictures of his family. And they said that was racist. And he had what I thought was a common sense response. It's my office. I'm put up pictures of my family. I think that's grasping for a reason for an ism, right? I think that we live in a society now where so many people can escape consequence for not doing their job well. And then the accused, when despite a mountain, it does look like he
fabricated ism.
It sounds like he has a lot of evidence that this was trumped up, right?
Especially with those 6 other officers.
Okay, right.
And they're female officers.
But on the flip side, there's one that's saying he was very aggressive sexually with her and then became combative when she rejected the advances, right? These 6 other officers wouldn't be aware of that. That would just be something between
But
the two
what
of
they
them.
are aware of if they was recruited to lie.
Right. Well, that's the question. Were they asked if they had any similar experiences, or were they told to lie?
Or were they recruited to lie? Exactly.
That's the big question. And that's what we have, why we have to have fact finding. That's why police departments do investigations. And when you have the department that is charged with figuring out whether a crime has occurred, not taking the effort
and they lying too.
Right, well, to figure out what actually occurred. I don't know who's lying. I wasn't there. But damn it, we obviously.
But they're accusing each other within the department of lying.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. These are the people that are charged with discerning the truth.
And that's
in our
what's
society,
scary. And that's what makes
right?
it even more scary.
So why aren't they able to discern the truth here? You can't use a polygraph in a criminal investigation, really, to prosecute someone. But in a civil employment matter,
you can use it. It's admissible.
You most certainly can. And at the very least, we should have a lot of digging around to see what's going on. And we're going to continue, just like we talked earlier in the week about the Mexican reporter criticizing Zoe Saldana's movie for not having enough Latina actresses born in Mexico. We're going to continue to see people weaponizing and complaining and fighting. And this here, obviously, if these women are lying, what they figured, and I don't know if they are, but if they are, they said, hey, we can just say sexual harassment and sexism.
That's scary, brother.
And that's the end of it.
That's frightening,
right?
brother.
So, but on the flip side, it's frightening that we have monsters that have gotten away with for years.
For so long, I agree with you. But Charles, we're starting to see this a little bit more and more now, where women are using that lie to try to cover up or hide the truth of something else. And they're not being held accountable when it's discovered that they did lie.
Well, I mean, we still see on the flip side, the truth is that most sexual assaults are not reported. When they are reported,
I agree with you on that.
And mostly we have female victims who get no justice. But here it looks like these women are weaponizing it, and if it's true, I hope they have a consequence.
And these are cops.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.